On June 15th, 2025, at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, Angela Brooks, a young black woman, sat with quiet dignity in first class, seat 1A, on Skywave Airlines Flight 392 to Atlanta. Her ticket, purchased weeks in advance, was indisputable, yet a flight attendant's piercing voice cut through the cabin. "This section is reserved for premium passengers. Move to the back." Why was Angela targeted, her proof dismissed, as passengers' smartphones began capturing the moment? The incident sparked an immediate online firestorm, with #Skywave bias trending rapidly, raising a question that demands an answer. When does a seat assignment become a battle for dignity, respect, and justice in a world that claims equality? Angela's eyes held steady, her hands unwavering as she presented her boarding pass to flight attendant Emily Harper, who barely glanced at it, her fingers tapping impatiently on her tablet. Passengers around them whispered, some pulling out phones to record, their screens casting flickers of light across the tense first-class cabin. Angela's voice, soft but resolute, repeated clearly, "This is my seat 1A first class, confirmed weeks ago." Emily's response was icy. "Our system shows you booked economy." The murmurs grew louder, the air thick with scrutiny and judgment. A tweet flashed across social media. "Passenger humiliated on Skywave 2025, and this still happens?" Angela's calm resolve remained unbroken, but the weight of unfair accusation pressed heavily, setting the stage for a confrontation that would resonate far beyond the confines of Gate C-12, challenging the very systems that allowed such injustice to unfold. Angela sat steadfast, her phone displaying undeniable proof. Seat 1A, first class, booked 2 weeks prior with meticulous care. "Please check again," she said, her voice steady despite the mounting tension that gripped the cabin. Emily's eyes flicked dismissively, her tablet's relentless clicks echoing like a judgment. "Ma'am, you're in economy," she insisted, her tone sharp with unwarranted certainty. Passengers leaned closer, their cameras rolling, as a man in 2B muttered under his breath, "Just go to coach, don't drag this out." Emily summoned her colleague, Lisa, who approached with a skeptical glance, her posture rigid. "Is there a mix-up here?" Lisa asked, her words laced with doubt that stung. On social media, #Skywave bias surged, a tweet hitting 500 retweets. "Black passenger targeted on Flight 392, utterly shameful." Angela's jaw tightened ever so slightly, her composure a powerful defiance against the assumptions closing in around her. The cabin's atmosphere grew heavy, every eye riveted on the unfolding drama, as the truth lingered just beyond reach, poised to shatter the noise of prejudice and systemic error that clouded the moment. The cabin's tension deepened as Angela held her ground, her proof blatantly ignored by Emily Harper's sharp insistence. "You're holding up the entire flight," Emily snapped, her voice slicing through the growing whispers of passengers. Their phones captured every second, screens alive with #Skywave bias. A chair creaked loudly, drawing all eyes. William Carter, a silver-haired man in a simple sweater, rose from seat 3A, his calm eyes piercing through the chaos with quiet authority. "She showed her ticket," he said, his deep voice steady and commanding. "Why haven't you checked the system properly? I've heard far too many stories like this with Skywave." Emily's face tightened, her composure cracking. "Sir, this isn't your concern," she retorted sharply. Carter stood unmoved. "Fairness is everyone's concern," he replied, his tone firm yet measured, resonating with conviction. The cabin fell hushed, all attention shifting to him. A woman in 4B began live streaming, her feed buzzing with comments. "Who's this man standing up for her?" Pilot David Lawson emerged from the cockpit, his expression stern and unyielding, his presence imposing. "Sir, you're causing a disruption," he warned, his voice low but threatening. Carter's gaze met Angela's, a silent assurance passing between them, steadying her. Her shoulders eased slightly, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. The truth edged closer, the cabin poised for the next move in this escalating clash of justice versus prejudice. Emily's voice sliced through the stifling air, sharp and unyielding as a blade. "You're both disrupting this flight," she declared, glaring at Angela and Carter with mounting frustration. Angela's fingers gripped her phone, her proof still undeniable, a beacon of truth. Her eyes stayed firm, though a hint of worry crept into her expression, betraying the strain. "I've shown my proof," she said, her voice soft but resolute, unwavering in its clarity. Carter stood tall, his silver hair catching the cabin's dim light, a figure of quiet strength. "I've flown 500,000 miles with Skywave," he said, holding up his gold membership card, its sheen a testament to his loyalty. "Check her ticket properly." Lawson's boots thudded heavily as he loomed closer, his tone icy and authoritative. "You're delaying departure, sir." Passengers' phones flashed, live streams surging to 2,000 views, capturing the raw intensity. A man in 2B grumbled loudly, "Just moved to coach already." But a woman in 4B whispered softly, "They're in the right." Emily's radio crackled. "Security to gate C12. Angela began recording, her voice low but steady. "It's 2:30 p.m. I'm being asked to leave my paid seat." Carter's jaw tightened, his calm fraying at the edges, revealing his growing anger. The cabin pulsed with raw, electric tension, every gaze locked on the clash, as justice hung precariously, teetering on the brink of resolution or further escalation in a battle that felt larger than one flight. Carter reached into his pocket, pulling out a sleek business card that glinted under the cabin's fluorescent light, a small but powerful gesture. He handed it to Emily, whose eyes widened in shock at the words, "William Carter, CEO, Skywave Airlines." Her tablet slipped slightly in her trembling hands, her face draining of color. Angela, gripping her phone tightly, froze, her breath catching as the revelation sank deep into her consciousness. The cabin fell into a profound silence, the plane's engines a faint, distant hum. Passengers leaned forward, their phones rolling, live streams exploding. Hashtag Skywave bias soaring to 5,000 views in moments. "I'm here to observe how my staff treats passengers," Carter said, his voice low, commanding, each word deliberate and heavy with authority. "What I've seen is utterly unacceptable." Emily faltered, her voice breaking. "Sir, I didn't know it was you." But Carter cut her off sharply. "You didn't need to know me to treat her fairly." Lawson swallowed hard, his earlier confidence crumbling like dry earth. Carter produced a folder, revealing documents detailing Skywave's ownership. Carter Enterprises held a commanding 25% stake. "This isn't about one seat," he said, glancing at Angela, her eyes blending relief, awe, and gratitude. "It's a system failing its passengers, failing its values." A passenger in 4B gasped audibly, her live stream chat erupting. "He's the CEO." Skywave's finished. Security officers hesitated at the gate, sensing the seismic shift. Angela spoke softly, her voice clear. "I just wanted my seat." Carter nodded, his expression softening briefly. "And you will have it." The tension morphed into anticipation, phones capturing every heartbeat of the moment. Tweets screamed across the internet. "CEO exposes bias on his own airline." Carter's gaze swept the cabin, landing on Lawson with precision. "You called security without checking her ticket. That ends now." Angela's hands eased their grip, the woman in 4B whispering to her neighbor. "This is bigger than I imagined." Carter's presence, not arrogant but purposeful, filled the space, his documents proof of power wielded for justice. The cabin waited, breathless, as a reckoning loomed beyond Gate C-12, promising to reshape not just one flight, but an entire industry's approach to fairness. Carter stood resolute at Gate C-12, his phone raised, its screen casting a faint glow as he connected to Laura Bennett, Skywave's chief operating officer. His voice carried across the tense cabin, steady and resonant with authority. "Laura, Angela Brooks was denied her first-class seat, and your crew ignored her clear proof." Angela sat in 1A, her eyes fixed on Carter, a mix of gratitude and unwavering resolve in her gaze. Passengers' phones flickered, live streams surging with intensity. Bennett's voice crackled through the speaker, strained but professional. "Will, what's happening at Gate C-12? Carter didn't waver, his words cutting through. "Discrimination, plain and simple. Your staff judged by appearance, not evidence. Our stock's down 1.8% in just 30 minutes. He held up documents, their pages detailing Carter Enterprises' 25% stake in Skywave. "This isn't just Angela's fight. It's every passenger's right to dignity." Emily stood frozen, her earlier confidence shattered into fragments. Lawson shifted uneasily, his eyes avoiding Carter's piercing stare. Carter laid out his demands with precision. "Fire Harper and Lawson immediately. Issue a public apology to Angela, acknowledging this failure." Bennett's silence hung heavy. Then she nodded on screen. "It's done, Will." Passengers murmured, some clapping softly, their phones capturing the historic exchange. A tweet flashed across screens. "CEO demands justice on Flight 392, shaking Skywave." Angela's hands relaxed, her calm a testament to her strength. Carter's tone softened but remained firm. "This isn't about punishment. It's about fixing a system that's broken at its core." A woman in 4B, still live streaming, whispered, "He's rewriting the rules of this airline." The cabin buzzed with anticipation, every passenger sensing the weight of this pivotal moment. Carter's eyes met Angela's again, a silent vow that her dignity mattered. Comments flooded online. "Skywave's finally waking up," and "This is accountability in action." Bennett's voice broke through. "You have full authority, Will." Carter nodded, his expression resolute. "Then let's ensure this never happens again." The cabin seemed to hold its collective breath, the hum of the plane's engines fading into the background. Angela's gaze steadied, a spark of hope igniting brightly as Gate C-12 became a turning point, not just for her, but for an airline's future and its commitment to justice. Carter's words lingered heavily at Gate C-12, Angela in 1A, her eyes steady, carrying the weight of the ordeal with grace. Passengers crowded closer, their phones glowing, live streams hitting 15,000 views in a frenzy. Skywave bias surged across social media, but opinions split sharply. Comments flooded in. "Carter's abusing his power, firing people on the spot, and she's too sensitive, making a fuss over a seat." Angela's gaze flickered, absorbing the accusations, yet her composure remained unshaken. Carter stood tall, his silver hair catching the cabin's dim light, addressing the crowd with calm authority. "I acted on evidence. 152 discrimination complaints at Skywave this year, 43% above the industry average." His voice cut through the noise, each word deliberate, grounded in data. Dr. Rachel Lee in 4B spoke up, her tone firm and clear. Angela asked for fairness, nothing more, and she stood her ground. Murmurs rose, some passengers nodding in agreement, others skeptical, their faces tense. A man in 2B muttered, "We're still delayed because of this." Debate flared online. "Carter's right, the system's broken." Clashed with "he's grandstanding for clout." Carter held up a document, its pages listing Skywave's complaint statistics, his eyes scanning the crowd with purpose. This isn't about one person. It's a pattern that must end. Angela's hands clasped tightly, her calm pushing back against the critics with quiet strength. Lee's livestream chat buzzed. 152 complaints, Skywaves in deep trouble. Security lingered nearby, unsure whether to intervene. A tweet flashed. Is the CEO too harsh, or is this justice? Carter's gaze met Angela's, offering reassurance that cut through the chaos. We're here for facts, not feelings, he said. Lee added, Angela never raised her voice. That's real strength. The cabin's mood shifted. Some passengers clapped, others whispered, weighing the evidence carefully. Comments online clashed. She's playing the victim card versus Skywave ignored her rights. Angela's eyes remained fixed on Carter, a flicker of gratitude passing through her. The debate raged, but Carter's numbers, 152 complaints, hard, undeniable data, silenced the loudest skeptics in the cabin. A woman in 3C whispered to her neighbor. They didn't even check her ticket properly. Carter's voice rang out again. Change starts with accountability, not excuses. Angela's resolve stood firm, her presence a testament to dignity, as Gate C12 transformed into a stage for truth, challenging all to see the deeper issues at play. Angela settled back into 1A, her face softened by a quiet, hard-won relief that spoke louder than any words. Skywave Flight 392's cabin hummed with a new energy. Passengers' phones still glowing, live stream steady at 20,000 views. William Carter stood at the gate, his phone open to an email from Laura Bennett, Skywave's chief operating officer. All demands accepted, he read aloud, his voice carrying the weight of victory. Soft applause rippled through the cabin, a wave of approval. Security escorted Emily Harper and pilot David Lawson away, their heads bowed, the consequences of their actions undeniable. An airport TV screen showed Bennett, her expression solemn. Skywave failed Angela Brooks. We apologize and commit to meaningful change. Passengers nodded, some wiping tears, their phones capturing the historic moment. Skywave equality surged, hitting 25,000 tweets in a wave of support. Carter turned to Angela, his eyes warm with respect. A $500,000 diversity fund will carry your name and will launch bias training for all staff within 30 days, plus an anonymous reporting system to catch these failures early. Angela's hand touched her heart, a gesture of humble gratitude that moved the crowd. Dr. Rachel Lee in 4B whispered, She's a catalyst for something bigger. The cabin felt lighter, the tension dissolving into hope and possibility. Comments buzzed online. Skywave stepping up at last, and Angela's fund will change lives. Carter's presence, calm yet commanding, anchored the moment. This isn't about one flight, he said, addressing the crowd with conviction. It's about ensuring dignity for every passenger, every time. A passenger in 3C clapped, others joined, the sound swelling into a chorus. Angela's eyes glistened, not with weakness but with the strength of being seen and validated. The applause grew louder, a collective exhale of relief washing over the cabin. Angela spoke softly, her voice clear and resonant. I just wanted to be treated fairly. Her words landed like a quiet thunder, resonating with every passenger who'd ever felt dismissed or overlooked. Carter nodded, his expression one of deep respect. And you've made sure others will be, he said, his words a promise. The TV screen flashed again, showing Skywave's stock stabilizing, a sign of trust returning. Passengers began to settle, their phones lowering, but the moment lingered, a promise etched in their memories, a vow to carry forward. Angela's gaze met Carter's, a silent acknowledgement of their shared victory. The cabin, once a battleground of injustice, now glowed with the light of change, its impact reaching a world ready to demand fairness and accountability in every journey. Angela stepped out into Atlanta's warm sunlight, her inbox overflowing with letters from passengers across the country. Heartfelt stories of unfair treatment, each one thanking her for her courage and stand. In a quiet Atlanta cafe, she opened her laptop, checking Skywave's new anonymous reporting system. 10 complaints logged within 72 hours, a sign the system was already catching injustices. Her heart lifted, a blend of hope and resolve anchoring her. #Skywave equality soared to 30,000 tweets, with comments praising her fight. One woman reshaped an airline's soul. In Seattle, William Carter sat in his office, his desk covered with reports showing Skywave's stock climbing 2.5% after their swift, decisive response to the Gate C-12 incident. A news anchor's voice echoed from a nearby TV. Skywave launches its Equality in the Skies initiative, inspired by Angela Brooks. Carter's phone rang. A colleague reporting excitedly, 6 airlines want to adopt our bias training model. Carter nodded, his silver hair catching the office light, murmuring, Angela started this fire. Passengers from Flight 392 shared videos online, their captions lauding Angela's courage and Carter's unwavering accountability. Dr. Rachel Lee, the woman in 4B, posted, I saw dignity defended in real time, and it changed me. The ripple effect grew. Other airlines began reviewing their policies, inspired by Skywave's bold, transparent reforms. Angela's inbox held countless voices. A young man in Denver, a grandmother in Chicago, each thanking her for giving them the courage to speak out. Carter's office screen displayed rising customer satisfaction metrics, proof that action trumped excuses. Angela walked through Atlanta's bustling streets, her steps lighter, knowing her stand had ignited a movement that was spreading nationwide. A passenger's letter stood out, its words raw. You showed me I don't have to stay silent anymore. Carter, in a call with his board, said firmly, Angela's dignity drove this change, not my title or power. A news alert flashed on Angela's phone. Skywave sets a new standard for fairness in travel. Her heart swelled, not for fame or recognition, but for the countless others who'd now travel without fear of prejudice. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across Atlanta, as the promise of Gate C-12 echoed through cities, proving that one courageous moment could shift an entire industry's course forever, inspiring a nation to demand better. Angela stood at the podium of the Transportation Equality Summit in Atlanta, her presence steady, her voice carrying a quiet, unshakable strength that filled the packed auditorium. When I sat in seat 1A, I only asked for fairness, she said, her words clear, unhurried, resonating deeply. That moment showed me anyone can spark change, no wealth or title required. The crowd of 800, activists, airline executives, everyday travelers, leaned forward, their applause swelling like a heartbeat, echoing through the hall. William Carter sat in the front row, his silver hair catching the stage lights, his nod to Angela one of genuine, heartfelt respect. Her eyes met his, a shared understanding of the fire they'd ignited together. Record injustice, she urged, her tone earnest and empowering. Use your phone. Note the time, the place, the faces. Demand accountability, always. The screen behind her flashed blackechoes.org, a platform born from Carter's $500,000 diversity fund, now a beacon for reporting discrimination across industries. #Skywave Equality hit 30,000 tweets, with comments flooding in. Angela's voice is ours, speaking for all. Carter rose after her speech, approaching her with a warm handshake. You reached millions, he said, his voice low, humble, and sincere. Angela smiled, her humility unshaken, her eyes bright with purpose and resolve. The auditorium's energy pulsed, attendees sharing stories of their own fights for dignity, inspired by her example. A young woman in the crowd posted online, "I'm reporting bias because of Angela's courage, Dr." Rachel Lee from Flight 392 tweeted, "This is how systems change, one voice at a time, starting with hers." Angela's final words rang out, clear and powerful. "Don't just see unfairness. Document it. Share it. Change it." The crowd stood, their ovation thunderous, echoing beyond the room to a live stream reaching 50,000 viewers worldwide. Carter's gaze lingered on Angela, his pride evident but understated. A man who'd leveraged his power to amplify her stand. The screen displayed tools for action, links to reporting guides, templates for complaints, resources for change. A tweet flashed across social media. "Angela's protocol is reshaping travel for good." Her message sank deep. Change didn't need wealth or titles, only the courage to speak truth. As the applause faded, Angela stepped off the stage, her heart full, knowing her fight at Gate C12 had given others a blueprint for justice. Her words left a legacy. Act with courage, demand dignity, transform the world. The audience, inspired, carried her call forward, ready to demand fairness in every journey, proving one woman's resolve could shift the skies for all who followed.